Have you ever wondered how a horror film gets made? Not the big blockbusters, but the small, intense ones that really get under your skin. Well, today, we're going to deconstruct the entire creative pitch for a short film called Static in the Walls. It's a perfect example of horror that's less about what's under the bed and more about what's inside our own heads.
And just listen to this tagline. Some walls remember what we try to forget. Right away, you know this isn't going to be a typical monster movie. This is about the ghosts we carry with us, the ones we can't escape. It's such a chilling and perfect way to set the tone. So, Static in the Walls is what's known as a capstone film for its writer and director, Brad Behnke. And you might hear that and think, oh, it's a student project. But it's way, way more than that. This is being built from the ground up to be a launchpad for a professional career.
Yeah, see, a capstone film has this really interesting double life. On one hand, sure, it's the final assignment you need to graduate. But on the other, and this is the important part, it's your professional calling card. It's the piece of work you take to film festivals, the thing you show to producers to prove you've got a unique vision. For a new director, the stakes are absolutely huge.
Okay, so with that in mind, let's dive into the actual story, because this is where things get really tense.
The whole film takes place in a single location, a grimy, forgotten restroom in a bus station. I mean, can you think of a more isolating place? It's not really a place at all. It's a space people pass through. It's limbo. And it's here that our main character, Casey, has basically trapped herself. The claustrophobia is just baked right into the premise from the very beginning.
And in this dead, quiet, lonely room, one thing breaks the silence. There's an old radio, maybe built into the wall, that suddenly crackles to life. You know, it's a classic horror setup, but what happens next is what makes this so unique.
Because this is the twist, and it's the absolute core of the horror. The radio doesn't play some creepy song or a stranger's voice. It starts speaking to Casey in her own voice. It's forcing her to finally listen to the guilt, the trauma, the thing she's been running from for years. I mean, how do you escape when the monster chasing you is literally you?
So you can see the film is using this very minimalist setup, one room, one character, to tackle these really heavy themes. We're talking about trauma, confession, the idea that your conscience can literally echo back at you from the walls around you. It's all driven by sound, which is a really smart way to do horror.
So, knowing the story is one thing, but how is the director actually going to make us feel Casey's terror? Well, that all comes down to the creative style and the vision for the film.
The plan here is to make the room itself feel like the enemy. The only light sources are these flickering, unreliable fluorescents and the creepy glow from the radio. Sound isn't just background noise, it's a weapon. The static, the whispers, even the unnerving silence become characters in themselves.
I left him.
And the camera's going to be handheld, super intimate, trapping us right there with Casey, making us feel every bit of her anxiety.
And if you want to get a sense of the tone they're going for, just look at these influences. You've got the grief-turned monster from The Babadook, the psychological and physical breakdown from The Machinist, and that idea of a space holding on to old pain from The Night House. This tells you right away the goal isn't just cheap jump scares, it's about a deep, slow-burning dread that comes from the character's own mind.
All right, so we have the story and we have the style. Let's circle back for a second to the why behind all of this. What are the actual, tangible goals of making a capstone film like this?
So here's the official definition. A capstone film is that final, big project that's meant to show off everything a student has learned. It's basically their final exam and their first professional resume, all rolled into one.
And it really breaks down into a simple 3-step plan. Step 1, graduate. You got to finish the film to get the degree. Step 2, build your portfolio. This becomes the single best piece of work you have to show people. And step 3, showcase your skills. You use that portfolio piece to prove to the industry you know what you're doing with storytelling, lighting, sound, the whole shebang. It's a really strategic career move.
Of course, a great vision needs a practical plan to actually make it happen. So let's look at the production blueprint for how Static in the Walls is going to become a reality.
To get that professional polish we've been talking about, the director set a really clear funding goal of $5,000. And that's not just a number pulled out of thin air. It's based on a super detailed breakdown of exactly what's needed.
And here's exactly where every single one of those dollars is going. The biggest chunk, 30%, goes to paying the cast and crew. That's how you get professional talent. The rest is split between crucial things like post-production, getting the right camera gear, securing the perfect creepy location, and of course production design, which includes that all-important radio prop.
And look at this timeline. It is tight and focused.
all the planning happens in November, the actual shoot is in December, and then it's a mad dash through post-production in January. The goal is to start submitting to film festivals by February. This is an ambitious schedule, but it's exactly how the pros do it.
Which leaves us with this one last question, a question that really gets to the heart of the whole film. How does a story trapped in one room find its voice? It's a literal question, about a radio, but it's also a much bigger one about memory, trauma, and the stories we try to bury. And I guess the answer is somewhere in the static.